RC Action Australia. How's everybody out there? So I'm still riding this high of the Tamiya re-release of the Terra Scorcher on kit 47442. So if you haven't already checked out my unboxing video, guys, hit the link above. As I said, I've had a lot of people asking me what's in it, what's changed, what hasn't changed. Now I did sort of put a few things in that first video. So I've decided today, based on some people's feedback, plus people have been contacting me both on Facebook and Instagram at RC Action Australia, so get on there and check those out, guys. Basically asking me what's the difference, and basically, you know, asking me, do I have a vintage kit and whatnot. So I do actually have a vintage new in box kit, plus I do have a brand new vintage built kit that you can see up here, plus the Re. So basically today's video is just based on what people have been asking me. So they wanted me to show, maybe compare and contrast the vintage kit with the re-release kit. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. I've also had so many questions asking me how I even got this, because release dates weren't until the 20th of April, and then there was other release dates for the 30th of June. So as I said, guys, I've got no idea how I got this on the 15th or the 16th of April, I think it was, that I picked it up. But I do know one thing. All of the hobby shops, I had my name down for all of the major hobby shops in Australia here. They were expecting, you know, between 12 to 24 kits. Most shops only got 4 kits, and they're basically told that's it. It's a very limited release. So unfortunately, I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that'll miss out on this kit. But hopefully Tamiya realise the demand, and maybe there is talks of another shipment arriving in June. So that's probably where that June 30 release date is coming from. So nevertheless, guys, hopefully everyone who wanted one has got their hands on one. So today's video, I'll show you the this one again. We won't go into the detail. Check that out on my unboxing video, guys, but just wanted to show you the difference between how the vintage kit was presented, how this kit's presented. Okay, guys, so let's run through some of the differences, and obviously I'll show you the vintage, which is obviously our kit over here. This is the vintage built car that I had in the shed there. So as you can see, that's a beautiful example of a Terra Scorcher, and it's completely brand new and original. So I'll just pop that one aside for a second there, guys, and let's just compare the two kits side by side. So obviously you can straight away see that the vintage box is larger, the box art is slightly different, and I'll put some pictures of just like the edges of the boxes up here, and obviously the Re doesn't list any hop-ups, whereas the original had a Dynatech high caps, and I think some like Avanti tyres and whatnot. So as you can see here with the re-release kit, guys, everything is just piled into the box. It's not nicely presented at all, and yeah, so that's a little bit of a sad point there for the Re. Whereas obviously if we do compare that to our vintage kit over here, because I think that's going to fall over. Obviously our vintage kit here, everything's presented quite nicely in the blister packs. The body is mounted central with this beautiful body card, and everything like that. So and obviously in this box here we obviously have all the individual screws, and that are in our nice parts bags, which is also very, very nice. So one of the other differences that I did notice between the kits is is the original manual there. Now, something interesting I did notice on the manual here, guys, is the wing sticker. So I noticed that Tamiya have in the past done differences on their manual versus what actually comes in the kit. So it'd be interesting if anyone actually knows out there what that wing sticker was meant to be. So that's obviously a re-release manual there. So they've kept it pretty close, I guess, but obviously the vintage one definitely looks a lot nicer. Obviously, when I was talking about that card that the body's mounted on, so obviously the body in the original was stapled to this nice card here, whereas obviously in the re-release it's just thrown in the box in no real order. What else have I picked up, guys? Obviously these ones here, they're original decals, as you can see, and these are the re-release decals. So straight away, guys, you can see that there is some differences just with the super gripper versus the speed disc, GR racing fuel, TVA titanium valves. Everything else seems pretty spot on, so that's nice to see. But as I said, that's pretty straightforward though. The licensing does change, and I did kind of think before, but I could be wrong. The lettering looks slightly different on the re-release as well. The Terra Scorcher there is definitely a different font. So yeah, a couple of differences there with the decals as well, guys. The other difference that I have picked up also, guys, is the motor mounts. So the original motor mount is just this sort of thin metal motor mount there that mounted to the motor. The re-release has this alloy motor mount that looks like it's got all the exact same motor positioning. So they haven't given us any more pinion sizes to work with, but they've definitely upgraded this to a alloy motor mount. So that could be just because obviously in the re some people may want to run a brushless setup. So that's one of the differences. Also too, guys, the universal joints in the original, they're all pre-assembled. In the re you have to build them, I've noticed, just from looking at the kit. So some of the disappointing things also too, guys, is you are aware that the A5 part, I'll put a picture up of what I mean, it does have its weaknesses. So in the re to me, it didn't upgrade that at all, but you can buy these A5 braces on eBay. They're pretty cheap. So disappointing that to me it didn't include one of those in the kit, just to give that A5 part some more strength. And obviously another tip that I can give you too, guys, is the stainless steel suspension shaft sets. So one of the problems with the A5 part is where the screw bolts into the front of the A5, the thread from the actual screw does weaken the A5 part. So obviously these stainless with the C-clips, that will eliminate the stress on the A5, and combined with that brace I just showed you, should should fix the known fault with the Terra Scorcher. So the other thing that's missing from the re-release was the suspension arm parts. Obviously the originals are blue, so I do have a couple of packs of these, which is pretty handy. So that yeah, Tamiya had them in the kit. They're black. So if you want to make it look more vintage, if you've got any of those, that's what you'll need. So as you can see, guys, Tamiya have done an excellent job at re-releasing this kit, but I mean, you can agree, based on what I've shown you, that the original kit was presented a lot nicer in the box, and basically just had a bit more of that vintage appeal. So I do think it personally is a little bit of a shame that to me it didn't go to a little bit more effort, seeing that they are supposedly a limited release. You know, they have done that. You look at the 2011 Avanti, that was beautifully packaged in the box, and the Egris, I think, and there's probably various other kits as well, where, you know, they still have that blister pack and everything was laid out nicely in the kit like the original one was. So also too, I don't understand some of the decisions, like those 6mm suspension adjustment things. Obviously in the Re they're black, but the original they're blue. You know, there's a few things like that that just, you know, I think to me kind of missed the mark. Obviously the decals are different, but you know, that's to be expected, I guess, with licensing. So hopefully you enjoyed the video today, guys. Big shout out to everybody who has liked, who has subscribed, and is following the channel. Big thank you, guys. So if you haven't already liked and subscribed, and you haven't seen a lot of the back catalogue of videos, get on, guys. Support the channel. It is very much appreciated. So the next video I'm going to do is, I got tagged by Glenn at Tamiya Legends on showing my collection. So I'll get onto that video next, guys. So keep an eye out for that one, and in the meantime, check out all my other videos. Thank you.